Okay, we're finally recovered, physically recovered. Can talk about the game. What a game! I mean that was. I didn't make a list or anything, but that's one of the five best Vikings, certainly regular season wins I've ever seen. I mean, it has to be top five. Um, both in terms of you know just the comeback and all the craziness and what it could mean, what it means for like I think the reputation maybe of this team and what the season could be. Um, it's just an enormous win. I don't want to make too much of it because it is. I mean, it is still a Week 10 game. You know, there's still a lot of season to go. There's going to be playoff games, plural, hopefully. Um, there's still a lot to go, but but this felt like it was much more dramatic. But this almost felt like feels like it could be like the '98 game when we went into Lambeau Field and beat the hell out of the Packers. It changed the franchise. It's like it really changed their perception and it kind of opened up doors to like this could be something really amazing. And you know I'm always very I lean optimistic with the Vikings, but tried to temper it somewhat. Like every game I'm like, this doesn't mean that we're going to the Super Bowl. This doesn't mean we're going to win the Super Bowl. It's just one game. But you have to, you know, the idea of this team being a Super Bowl team, you have to discuss that now as a realistic thing. It could happen. Doesn't mean it will happen. There's a lot that can happen. There's so much that can happen. There's always upsets in the playoffs. You know, stuff happens, but that's what the kind of win this was. And it's the first time all year I've gotten the Viking game wrong. I thought they were going to lose. I, I got every game right this year until now. I thought this was the spot they were going to lose. So I wasn't even going in with like a lot of anxiety or worry. I'm like, you know what? If we play a pretty decent game up there, even if we lose, be disappointed if we lose, but I think it'll speak well of the team. So we do our thing where we go get the touchdown on the first drive of the game. We do that damn near every week. It seems like great one of the first of many great catches by Jefferson, and then we kind of go into our little shell again on offense for a while. We have the first Kirk pick where he just sailed the ball. Um, you know, really not a good throw. Um, and then we have the other drive where we get the 3rd and 1. It was the one after we got that fumble. That because after we go up 7-0, we give up back-to-back touchdown drives where we're just getting destroyed. It's like we're not even competitive. They're just Allen's doing whatever he wants. They're running on us. Diggs is open all over the place. Like there's nothing going on where it looks like we're even competitive. So it's, goes from 7-0 to 14-7 in a blink, and then we get that. We get the interception. We kind of we stop them a little bit. Or no, we gave up. Then we gave up the field goal, make it 17-7. But we do get a field goal in there at some point. But we have the Kirk pick, and then we get that fumble where it looks like they're going to go up 3 scores. We get that fumble, we get the return, and then we botch the damn drive with I don't know what we were doing. I don't know why the decision was made to just on 3rd and 1 and then 4th and 1 both to try to like throw passes. Not that you can't throw, but I mean, what's most important there is just moving the chains. It's like we were getting a little too cute there. and that was just that disastrous end of the first half. Where we had this swing with this fumble. You're thinking, okay, maybe we can go tie it up, and then we're getting the ball to start the second half. Maybe we can, kind of, get a lead and have a lead to play with. Instead, we turn it over on downs, and then we let them go right down the field, go up 24-10. Absolute disaster. That was as bad as any of those end of half disasters we had last year. So it's just like, it's 24-10. You're doing exactly what you can't do in Buffalo against that team. You're giving away possessions. You're not playing defense. You're making mistakes. We had the one play in there where the first of the two plays where Ed Ingram steps on Kirk for no reason and makes him fall down. We're just some dumb mistakes. We had 2 chances in the first half to intercept Allen. We got one of them I know was Sullivan. I think that might have been the first drive, and then there was another one where I think we had at least two of our guys get their hands on a pass, and we didn't come down with it. It's like, we're blowing these chances, and then we're 24-10 at the half, and it's just like, oh god. And then we get the pick early in the third with Kirk, and I'm very much a Kirk defender, but that pick he threw in the third quarter, that might be the worst throw he's made as a Viking, maybe his whole career. I mean, that was just absolute. I don't know what was going on there. I don't know what he was looking at. So these things, we don't come out in the third. We don't kind of get ourselves back in it. Then they eventually get a field goal. It's 27-10, and it's kind of just, we're sort of in the game, but not really. It just feels like it's kind of just a hopeless quest at that point. I wouldn't say the game turned on the Dalvin touchdown when he burst for 81 yards, but we certainly needed it. It certainly helped, because that was right after they went up 17. We immediately get the touchdown to cut it back to 10. It at least puts us in things, and then we get to the fourth quarter, and I don't know what it is with this team. Just they are a different team in the fourth quarter. Of course, we're letting Josh Allen go right down the field on us again. It looks like he's easily going to get another touchdown on us, and then it's going to be back to a 3-score game. And it's like we're never going to catch up, because we can't stop them. And you have to make a comeback. You have to make stops, and it didn't look like that was going to happen. But the first Pat P pick in the end zone, I mean, that was going to be a fourth down turnover on downs anyway. But just stopping them there and kind of giving us a little bit of life, even at that point, I pretty much resigned myself to the fact that they were probably going to lose at that point. Certainly when it was like 27-10, I was like, this is probably not going to happen. And even after the Dalvin touchdown, I was like, this is still probably not going to happen. But watching the plays back, hell, I had completely forgotten about the fourth down conversion to Hawkinson on that next Vikings drive. I completely forgot that play even happened, because so much happened after. But even that they just barely converted. But that's just a huge play to Hawkinson, and we get down there and we get the CJ Ham touchdown, and it's like, boy, we really do have a shot. And then fucking Great Joseph misses the PAT. I don't know if it's like a team chemistry thing, and I can understand O'Connell doesn't necessarily want to be a guy who just goes out there and hey, you make a mistake in a game, you're cut Monday. But he's the kicker, okay? He's not getting it done. You can't, that was one of those missed PATs. He's missed, I think, 4 now this year, and couple games in a row. He's missing these goddamn PETs. And we're playing all these close games. It's just, you can't get away with it. You can't let it happen. And it's just it's just unbelievable that this continues to happen. I don't know if they're going to do anything with Greg Joseph. I don't know if they're going to cut him. They haven't, to my knowledge, even brought in kickers during the week at all to try him out. I don't know if it's just a thing where he doesn't want to cut players off of a winning team, but. And look, he hit the field goal that won the game ultimately, but it just can't happen. This can't happen. They have to do something because they're going to keep playing these close games, and the end of that game, particularly at least in regulation, that plays out very, very differently if that thing is 27-24 instead of 27-23. But like, we overcome stuff like that, and we get the ball back, and then we just it's Kirk in the fourth quarter, Vikings in the fourth quarter, and we go on this terrific drive with clutch throws, and of course the Jefferson catch. I've watched that thing probably 20 times now already. That is the best catch I've ever seen. And people talk about Odell Beckham all they want to. Beckham was not catching it like, there's like defender's two hands, and like my head is Jefferson's hand. He just had his hand in the perfect spot to just rip it clean from the defender. I don't know how. I've watched it like 20 times. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did it. And of course, to do it under those circumstances, a 4th and 18, they don't convert that. That's the ball game. There's no chance at that point that they were going to get the ball back for anything. I mean, it's if Jefferson goes on to have a Hall of Fame type career, plays for another 10, 12 years, however many, like, that's always going to be number one. He may hopefully he will have catches that are even more important in games, like playoff games, maybe even a Super Bowl. But in terms of just jaw-dropping skill and just how did it happen? That's number one. And then we get down there, like, we think there's a touchdown to Jefferson. He's just short, and then we fuck around, and like, I'm gonna go to my grave thinking that Kirk was in on that sneak. I've watched that many times back too now. Like, he was in. I'm sorry. The guy's falling on the defender. He got the ball up high. He's falling onto the white. What pisses me off about that play is the officials knew what they were doing, because it was under 2 minutes. Now, if it was over 2 minutes, because if it's under 2 minutes, everything gets reviewed. Anything gets reviewed automatically if it's close. If it's earlier than 2 minutes, stuff has to be challenged unless it's a scoring play. So I will bet you anything that if that play had happened at 2:30 on the game clock, they rule that a touchdown, because then that's an automatic review anyway, and then they can go and review it. But it becomes this crap where it's inconclusive on a review, so you can't change what call you made on the field. But if you're making the call on the field for reasons other than what happened on the field, it's the same thing that happened in that Cincy game last year, where they called the Dalvin fumble, which wasn't a fumble, but they called it a fumble, so they could review it, but then they go to review it and then they say it's inconclusive. It's a real slick thing they got going. And I was going to be livid. Like I would, I was saying in the reaction video, they're stealing the game from us. Officials stealing the game from us with that call. And it was, I couldn't believe it. But we get the miracle. We get the Buffalo blessing. I've never seen it before. I've never seen that happen before because, we've seen it before where like a team gets stopped on the 1, and they have to kind of just run a play, like a real play. It's not they can't kneel it out. They have to run a real play to move forward and run the clock out. And it's a formality. It's basically, it's not victory formation, but it's close. And I've never seen that. And maybe it's happened before. I obviously don't have recall on every game in the history of the NFL or even college, but on the replay, you didn't get the snap for whatever reason. And I think it's it's not just that it was just a miraculous stroke of luck, and that was absolutely luck. I mean, my God, that's something, that's a play that just never happens. But it would have been very easy for our defense to just sullenly walk out to the field for that play, dejected and just given up, like, well, we've lost, we're just going to go through the motions. No, they were like, they went after the play, because we probably don't recover that ball if we're not really going after it. Kendricks ended up getting it, but it's like, if we're not really going after it, we're just kind of standing there and just being like, well, this is over, there's nothing we can do. That doesn't happen. They fumble it, and maybe they just recover it themselves, and maybe recover it on the 1, and then just the clock runs, and that's it. So even just that little moment there, we didn't quit. And like, it's absolutely luck. That play was absolutely luck. But we have had so many things go against us as a franchise since before I was even around. Like we are owed so many more of those. And I'm disgusted because we're giving up. We let them get down into field goal range so easily. I actually thought it was a really good play then. Watching it back, Booth got that PI on the last actual offensive play. That was actually a good penalty, because that might have been a touchdown if he doesn't interfere with the receiver. And a penalty doesn't really hurt you there, because it's it wasn't in the end zone, so it's not putting the ball at the 1. And then we get into OT, and we go right down the field again. And we get this brilliant pass to JJ at the 2. I mean, look, watching that one back too, the ball placement from some of these throws for Kirk today, like, I can't explain the 2 picks, especially the second one. I don't know what the hell's going on. But it wasn't, JJ gets all the kudos, and he deserves all the kudos. But the placement from Kirk on these throws, some of these throws, was just unbelievable. Especially that one, the one that got him down to the 2 there in overtime. That was I don't know how you place the ball better than that in any circumstance. This was just unbelievable. And for whatever reason, we got in these goal-to-go spots today, and we had some issues. I don't know what was going on. I didn't even know this until after the game. I guess they had 12 men on the field. The Buffalo did on that first and goal play. I think it was the first and goal play where Dalvin got stuffed. They've had 12 men on the field. They didn't call it. The refs were not particularly good today. They had that one in I think it was the first half drive where we got the field goal. They call a penalty on Hawkinson, an OPI on Hawkinson, but then the very next play, Hawkinson's interfered with and they don't call it. And, they miss it. They miss it 12 men. They missed a couple of false starts, and then of course there was the OT. I think it was either OT or never mind. It was the one where they tied it, the end of regulation, where there's that sideline play, and the ball moved. Like that would not have, if they'd reviewed that, that probably gets overturned. In fact, it almost certainly gets overturned. They might get a field goal anyway, but it would have been a longer field goal. And I don't know what they're doing. It's like not a good day for the officials at all. Most of it went against us, but I'm surprised they even gave us that one fumble that we got, the one in the first half. I thought they were going to overturn that shit, even though there was nothing to justify it. But just really bad execution down there. We end up having to kick the field goal, and then it's just like we're dead because there was nothing to really indicate. Like we kind of had stopped Buffalo, at times. Like we did make some defensive stops. Like that's been kind of the story of the season with the defenses. At a lot of points, this defense is just kind of getting gashed, but then here or there, they're able to make these stops, usually in the second half and the fourth quarter, to give us a shot. It sure didn't look like that was going to happen in the OT, though, because we're just giving up, the whole day, really. Anytime Josh Allen was out of the pocket, we were just giving it up. I think I saw he had 6 carries for 84 yards. That is ridiculous for a quarterback. We couldn't tackle him. We haven't really adjusted at all to the real mobile running quarterbacks this year, as far as containing them. We just haven't done a good job of that against any of them all year. And we got another one next week with Prescott. He's probably going to get us a bunch too, but they get down there. Duke Shelley up from the practice squad. I believe we got him from the Bears, maybe. Because we were already out Dantzler. They put Dantzler on the IR, and we got Caleb Evans in there. He goes out because of a concussion. So Booth gets out there, and then we've also got to have Shelley out there, Duke Shelley. And he made a huge play because that probably was going to be a touchdown because that was really well placed football. But he broke it up, and then I think it was either the next player or one after. I don't really know why Josh Allen threw that ball because they were in certain field goal range and had downs to spare. I think still. I don't know why he threw it, but I'm glad he did because that was a pretty easy pick for Pat P. We dropped a couple in the first half, but Pat P got 2 of them, and that last one was, that was our only shot, really, is maybe get a turnover because we weren't stopping them. And we're 8-1. It's amazing. I expect it every week, basically. I did pick them to lose today, but I expected a close game. I expected at least a competitive game. It defies logic that they're able to keep doing this. Because think of the number of things that if we don't have this particular play, basically from the Dalvin run on, if we don't have this particular play, we lose. There's no question about it. And we needed all of these plays, and we got all of them. The only one we didn't get was the Kirk sneak. That was really the only play, the only moment in the whole comeback that we didn't get. And this is remarkable. We'll never see this again. Whatever the rest of the season is, and the rest of the O'Connell era and all this, we'll never see this again. This will never happen again. to have 7 wins in a row, 7 one-score wins in a row, like uninterrupted. Like this is just not, this doesn't happen, and it's been used against the Vikings prior to this because they're put down for winning close games. But I think the fact that they have been in so many of these close games and these tight fourth quarters, they've had to make comebacks. I think this was their fifth of the win streak where they had to actually come back in the fourth quarter. The fact that they've been in this grinder week after week after week, I think that helps them. Each week it helps them to do it again because they know that they can do it. They know they have this sense of calm about them. And even I saw the stat that Buffalo is 2-8 in their last 10 one-score games. They aren't getting it done. As great as Buffalo is, I still think Buffalo might go to the Super Bowl. But they're they're a team that they can get in these close games and then they struggle. It's a different thing when you're blowing teams out like Buffalo does a lot of times, and then you get in these close games and I'm not even saying that they panic because I don't think I don't put this win down at all. I think Buffalo played a very good game today. I don't think we got a poor effort or a poor performance from Buffalo. I think we beat Buffalo playing well, and I don't think we gave our A game, but I think that's the really exciting thing is we didn't play our A game and we still got this win. I mean, it's because if you told me at the start of the day that Vikings were going to win, I'd be like, oh, we must have played a near perfect game with no turnovers and good defense, and at times we performed in those ways, but certainly not for 60 minutes, or I guess almost 70 minutes. But that's why people getting mad at the Vikings week after week for these close games, and they're putting us down because even the fans are putting them down for how dare you doing this? Why aren't you winning by more? It's that's just not how the NFL works. Most games are close. Most games today have been close. There's a Sunday Night Football game on that I'm watching right now that is close. This is just how it is. It's a skill. You hear O'Connell talk about it, how they talk about in some of these situations what to what to do, how to prepare for these situations, which are probably going to come up. And you've seen it now for 7 weeks in a row. This team gets in these fourth quarters, these tight games, and they know what they're doing, and they don't always execute. I think Kirk was in on the sneak, but it wasn't ruled that way. But so and obviously we had a first and goal at the 2 in overtime, but we didn't execute there. They don't always execute everything perfectly, but more often than not, they're getting it done, and we're never going to see this again. This is unprecedented. Eventually, we're going to lose a game. We're not going 16-1. I don't, obviously this I certainly thought was probably going to be a loss today. Now we get Dallas next week. Dallas, gave the game away to the Packers today, so I'd probably give us a little better shot to beat Dallas than I maybe would have before. We're going to lose eventually, but this is no fluke, and this is the game now that's really going to turn I think the national perception of the Vikings around, and whatever that's worth. I mean, it's not necessarily worth a lot. Who cares if ESPN talking heads think the Vikings are for real or not. But it's wins like this do change things today. So I don't think it's too hyperbolic to say that this could be a franchise changing win. And that's going to depend on what happens the rest of the season, but people want to keep calling the Vikings frauds. Go ahead. I don't know what you're calling them that for at this point. yeah, they haven't blown teams out, and maybe they'll never blow anybody out. Maybe week one is the only time we're gonna have kind of a comfortable win the whole year. You know, trust me, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if we did have a couple that were just kind of cakewalk games, but it ain't happening yet. But like this team is legit. Like the fact that they be in that spot that they were in today, to be down 17 points in Buffalo, and then obviously be down 2 scores with like, I don't even know what it was, like 6 minutes left, and yeah, you needed that one absolute miracle play, the Allen fumble, but like they put themselves in that spot to have it matter, and this just does not happen in the past with this team. We can go back before Zimmer. This just does not happen with this team. They don't win games like they won today. Like it was 24-10. People were like, "Oh, this is just like Philadelphia all over again." Like even then, I really didn't feel that way, because like we had screwed up some plays and missed some opportunities and stuff, but we were playing, we were competitive with them. I was like, at halftime, even when it was 24-10, I'm like, we can play with these guys. We're screwing up here and there, but we can play with these guys. And we beat them. like this is one of the more impressive wins we have had in a long time. And one of the best games. I mean, this is the kind of game that's going to be remembered and talked about for many years. Like this is going to be, regardless really of what this season turns out to be, like this is a game that people are gonna remember for years. I mean, this was just an unbelievable Justin Jefferson game, like absolutely best game of his career. I think it's on par with maybe the best game I've ever seen a receiver have. I mean, seriously, like the tough catches, the clutch catches. I mean, that fourth down catch is unreal. That is the best catch I've ever seen. I don't think that's in dispute. Really, I don't know. I don't even know what would have your little Odell Beckham one-handed catch. I don't care, man. This was better. And the fact that they went into Buffalo and did this, and they did not play their best game. We still have not seen the very best that this football team can play. I don't think we've seen even close yet. I think there's multiple levels higher than what they've done. If they play and if that other level, if that shows up in January, we're going to the freaking Super Bowl. Because this team is, they have absolutely earned this. It's this 8-1 record. They're going to have the division wrapped up very soon. They're going to be spending December just planning on, playing for seeding and seeing if maybe we can catch Philadelphia. I don't think that's going to happen, just because I don't know if Philadelphia is going to lose enough games and we have to finish ahead of Philadelphia. But it's time to just accept that this team is really good and they are legit, and that doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they're a legit contender. They are a legitimate contender to go to and win the Super Bowl. I don't think you can dispute that. I mean, we didn't play our A game at all. We were down like 2 corners. We had Christian Darrisaw out for, I think, like the whole fourth quarter in OT. And we won at Buffalo against a really good defense, and certainly one of the best quarterbacks in football. incredible performance. Like, and I know we needed that one really miraculous play. The fourth down pass to Jefferson. That's like a regular. It doesn't happen very often, but it's a kind of a regular football play. The fumble snap was not a regular football play. That was like a miraculous type of thing that you never see. So we got that, but everything else, like it wasn't a fluke. We went up there and we did it. We did it, and it's an incredible win. It's one of the best. It's one of the best Vikings wins that I've ever seen, certainly in the regular season. And like it just like it was legitimate already. This team was already legitimate to me, but from like a national perspective and reputation perspective, like this really solidifies them as one of the best teams in football and a real Super Bowl contender. And we haven't had like a real true Super Bowl contender since 2017. And even then I don't think people really took them seriously because we had a backup quarterback. But like look, I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl, but if we did, this is the type of team that could do it, because we have never seen a Vikings team, and I've referred to it multiple times now as magical. They have some sort of magic in the fourth quarter. Obviously you hope to have some comfortable wins, but they get in these fourth quarters and they're just a different team. They've had multiple score comebacks in the fourth quarter now. They just keep finding a way. It doesn't mean they're always going to find a way, but this is such a good team, and they are so gutty, and week after week they just keep proving it. And they're still tough. We still have a lot of tough games. Dallas next week is going to be a really tough game. I still think New England on a short week is going to be a tough game. I still think the Jets, will probably be tough. Giants might be tough. I mean, you can't even like say like, oh, we're going to go play in Detroit. That's going to be a cakewalk. No, Detroit, like they almost beat us here. Like every game is like this, but they get it. O'Connell gets it, man. I'm so fucking glad we hired that guy. He is a home run hire like we have never seen. We always we hire so many crappy managers and coaches in this town. We've got team. Some of our other pro teams in town right now just are being led by just garbage managers or coaches, but the Vikings have the guy who was the coach of the year. He's got to be the front runner for the coach of the year now. I mean, obviously, like if Philadelphia goes undefeated, they're going to give it to him, but the guy Sirianni. But like this coach has changed everything about this franchise. Like, because there's been roster turnover, but there hasn't been that much roster turnover. This is so much of this is coaching. Like, whatever it is about this guy, he's got this team believing when every time they're in these close games. It's just amazing to see. And I'm so glad we still have so many games to go, and we're not going to win them all. I still think we're gonna lose a game here or there, but I had them on 11 wins to start the season. I mean, they're going to win more than that. But I'm kind of rambling at this point anyway. But what a day! What a game! What an absolutely thrilling game! This is one of these ones that's just going to be talked about for years. This is just all the things that led to the win, the Jefferson just incredible play is, you know, I hope we get a rematch in February. I'd love it. Um, and more than ever, I do believe that this team might be playing in February.